All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time. We have titled this transmission 2 seconds to midnight, 3 seconds till dawn. On your planet, you have a device, an idea that you call the doomsday clock. The doomsday clock is a measure, a consensus, an agreement of how far or how close your entire global society might be to either a nuclear catastrophe or a climate change catastrophe that has the potential to wipe out a large portion of humanity or humanity entirely. The doomsday clock has now been set by many of your scientists at the closest number to midnight, 85 seconds to midnight, that it has ever been. This is an indication that the consensus of many individuals on your planet are concluding that you are as close as you have ever been to what you might call a humanitarian crisis, a possibility of global war, a possibility of catastrophic climactic change, a possibility of societal collapse for a variety of reasons. 85 seconds to midnight is the closest you have ever been. Midnight itself represents the collapse, represents the catastrophe that you have created this doomsday clock to measure. Because of recent conflicts on your planet, recent catastrophic climactic changes, recent political upheavals, warfare, famine, drought, and many other things, is why these individuals have determined that 85 seconds to midnight now in your year of 2026 is an appropriate measurement of how close you are coming, the closest you've ever been to the idea of the catastrophic experience and collapse of human society on your planet. However, we have titled this 2 seconds to midnight, 3 seconds to dawn, with the understanding that, as you say, on your planet, it is always darkest before the dawn, which means you are very, very close, much closer than you may think, to a radical shift in your energy, to the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another, to the probability and possibility that you can, over the course of just a couple of years, shift very drastically, very radically from a very negative scenario to a more positive direction for humanity. As has been said, you are now in the midst of a 3-decade resetting of humanity from 2020 to 2050, where you are going to shift in a more positive, creative, constructive direction, especially because of the introduction of extraterrestrials to your society in a couple of your years, especially because of the disclosure of UFO information this year, and also the exposure of hidden secrets in your society, in your political realms, in your financial realms, in your religious realms, in all the different levels of your society, the release of information coming to light on all sorts of different levels. That exposure of what has been secret for so long coming to the surface, allowing your public to become aware of all these things that have been hidden so that you can As we have said, get everything out on the table, recognize what you have been choosing and what the consequences of those choices are and what they could lead to, can awaken you, can open your eyes to what the consequences would be if you continue on some of these self-destructive paths, making self-destructive choices. So because you are very close to finally waking up, finally taking the actions necessary to make positive change in yourselves and in your society, because you are very close to doing so, because things are about to change very dramatically. That is why we are labeling this 2 seconds to midnight, because midnight for us, on the clock we are talking about, is about a great shift, is about a great change, is about a great awakening that is happening in your society as you become more aware of who you are, what you are connected to, and that you are not alone, and that you have never been alone, that you are souls, that you are spirits, that you are connected to Source. And therefore, 3 seconds to dawn, 3 seconds to awakening, the implication being that after you cross that threshold, that midnight, 1 more second is all it takes to shift your vibrational frequency into a reality, albeit at the beginning, albeit nascent, albeit that it will grow over time, over the next couple of decades, but a true beginning, a true new direction for humanity. Time for you to make different choices, time for you to change your behaviors, time for you to let go of the things you have been holding on to that prevent you from being who you truly are. There are 2 seconds remaining for you to do this, for things have been accelerating. The clock has never stopped ticking. We have told you this now for years, and then months, and then weeks, and then days, as the clock ticks down toward that midnight threshold, that crossing point, where you can allow yourself, through accelerated actions and changes that you make in your personal lives and in your society as a whole, by taking those actions that are representative of who you prefer to be and what world you prefer to live in, to shift across that threshold and allow yourselves to begin to truly experience in your day-to-day lives the new direction that you can allow yourselves to experience, to feel, to see, to awaken to a new dawn, a new day, a new cycle that will allow you to move in the direction of greater unity, greater peace, and greater love, greater light, that humanity shall become awakened and shall mature into, over time, full adulthood, full awareness, alongside, hand in hand, with your extraterrestrial and spiritual families, becoming more aware of your connection to them, being able to perceive them, to see them, to interact with them in a more visceral way, in a more direct way, and communicate and know that you are connected and not alone, and moving forward, hand in hand, extraterrestrials on one side, spirit beings on the other, with humanity directly in the center, walking together down a path of enlightenment, down a path of illumination, toward a new future, a new reality, a new awakening, a new awareness, a new life for all humans on your planet. 2 seconds to midnight. There is not much time left. Be active. Make choices. Now. Now is the time. Choose that which you prefer. Act upon that which you prefer. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Share your gifts with others. Act on your passion. Others are waiting to receive what you have to give. and thus create a synchronous exchange between each and every one of you that will carry you forward with great momentum, great acceleration. 3 seconds to dawn. Awaken with the dawn of a new light coming from within yourselves to illuminate the truth of who and what you are. Do not wait. We thank you for allowing us to share this with you, this day of your time, and in return for the gift you have given us in allowing us to interact and experience all of you. I ask now, in what way may we continue to be of service to your society, to your people, to your world? Please begin with your dialogues and questions if you wish.
So, just in theory, okay, is it possible for us humans to quantum jump to the reality where we are the extraterrestrials, so-called extraterrestrials, ETs? Is it possible to kind of raise your vibrations to this point, or change yourself to this point when you actually become extraterrestrial and you have your own ship? And if not, because I really want to go on that ship, okay? If not, is it possible to, in the future, to make friends with, extraterrestrials? So we could, visit ourselves, we could call ourselves for birthday, and, you could guys take me on a ship for just fun and, enjoying side views, enjoying seeing the stars.
In this particular lifetime, it is not possible to become an extraterrestrial. When you go back to spirit, your soul can choose to be born on another planet and become what you would classically refer to as an extraterrestrial. It will be possible in this lifetime, once open contact occurs in several years, to take rides on spacecraft with extraterrestrials, but you will not be becoming an extraterrestrial from this lifetime. Although, if you want to look at it from another point of view, obviously, to us, you are an alien. So, in a sense, you're already an alien, even though you are a terrestrial alien, to us, from our point of view. So, there is no need for you to become an extraterrestrial in this lifetime. You have to fulfill the Earth human lifetime. You have to become more fully human, which is what the soul chose for this lifetime. But you will be given an opportunity to interact with extraterrestrials, but you will not be able to become an actual extraterrestrial until you actually go back to spirit, and if your soul chooses to be born on another planet as a new incarnation, as an extraterrestrial. But you will be given the chance to interact with extraterrestrials, take rides on what you call extraterrestrial spacecraft in this lifetime after open contact.
Oh, hello, Bashar. How are you?
Perfect. And you?
I'm well. Thank you very much.
What would you like to discuss?
Oh, yes. I want to thank you for taking my questions and co-creating this experience for me. It's a major part of my highest excitement, so thank you.
It is also part of our highest excitement for this co-creation, so we thank you.
Okay, so my first question is, in the year of 2026, with disclosure upon us, and open knowledge being our birthright, what kind of accountability will government entities, corporations, Black projects have with forced secrecy to the general public, and how do the Essassani and other races view this?
Again, there are timings to things, which is why some things have been kept hidden until the time to reveal them, which is appropriate for the evolution of humanity. But as the decades unfold over the next 2 decades of the human reset window, more and more will be revealed, more and more will come out, because it will be understood that humanity can handle things as a whole. Right now, certain individuals may be able to handle more than the collective society can handle, but this is changing rapidly. As you bring more and more information out of hiding into the light, Humanity will get used to the idea of how to handle more and more information, and there will be relatively little reason in a decade or two for these kinds of secrets that have been being kept to be kept any longer. Humanity will ultimately know all the things it is dealing with, all the connections it has. There will be no reason to hide anything from anyone in a couple of decades.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you. Okay, my next question is I have two serenely beautiful, blue skinned, loving light beings that have been appearing at my side during meditation since 2023. I love them. Can you give me a direct insight as to who they are, my individual origins of the universe, and how that might connect to my purpose as a healer?
You have a strong connection to the Sirius vibration, and these are spirit guides that represent your connection to that frequency. The idea, again, of course, as always, of healing is to give off the vibrational frequency that you perceive from those beings, to match that and mirror that frequency in your healing work, because that is the vibration that would allow others that you are attempting to heal to match that frequency so they can heal themselves. Remember that no healer heals directly. You give off a frequency that if the person needing the healing chooses to match, they will heal themselves. But they are guiding you as to the correct frequency, the higher frequency energy. The feeling you have for them puts you in the proper state to do the healing, to do the vibration that will allow others, if they so choose, to match the correct vibration that will allow them to heal themselves.
Okay, that's like that tuning fork analogy you made.
Yes.
Okay.
Those two beings are your tuning forks.
Okay, that makes sense, because I feel very, very high vibration when they're there.
And therefore, in all the healing work that you do, call upon them, know they are there, feel how you feel when you know they are there, and come from that energy in all the healing work that you do.
Okay. Aside from being connected with the Sirius connection, those two particular individuals, are they from Sirius, or is there any other specifics I could get on?
It is not that they are from Sirius. They are spirit guides attempting to bring through the vibration of your Sirius connection so that you can gain more familiarity with that connection that you have.
I see.
And use it to your advantage. This is why they appear blue to you, because it's that particular frequency.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really interesting. Okay. My next question is, did you visit me recently in my dreams? If you didn't, somebody very blatantly announced themselves as Bashar in my dreams, and within that dream, it kind of caught me off guard.
All communications that we have with individuals, such as what we are having right now, physically, is always preceded by a contact in non-physical dream reality to set it up.
Okay. And that's the template reality, as you call it, correct?
To some degree. It doesn't even have to necessarily reach the template. It can activate the template, but the idea is that in the astral level, we always communicate and contact with individuals that we are about to actually physically speak with in your reality. So, yes.
Okay. Okay, this is a little bit of an abstract question.
All right, as long as you don't mind an abstract answer.
That's perfect. Okay, what am I not asking that I need to know for or about myself right now at this time?
Never assume that you are missing anything.
Okay.
You will always be given what you need as long as you are willing to take the actions that move you forward. It is the taking of the actions itself that will always bring you anything you need, and therefore never assume that you are missing anything. Otherwise, you will experience that you are missing something.
Okay, that makes sense.
I know. That's why I said it.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, my last question is, what is the Voynich manuscript? What culture does it come from, and what is it trying to tell or represent?
The Voynich manuscript is, in a sense, an herbal compendium of different herbs and cures and formula and tinctures that can heal many different kinds of things. It basically comes from a secret group in what you would call the Middle Ages who investigated all of these kinds of things, but kept it secretly coded so they would not be killed as witches and wizards.
Okay, so they weren't extraterrestrials. They were, well, humans, hybrids, so to speak, that made this.
Humans made it, who were very connected to nature and knew that they wanted to share this information, but were wise enough to understand that it had to be in some way, shape, or form encoded so that they would not be called out as wizards and witches, which have caused their deaths at that time. So they were a very advanced group of humans. They had telepathic connections with nature spirits, with extraterrestrials, with their spirit guides, and put all their knowledge of nature and herbal formulations into that manuscript, but again, coded it until such time as humanity would be ready and willing to understand the powerful formulas that they encoded in that work.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's all of my questions. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, we deeply appreciate the interaction, our unconditional love to you. Aveo, good day.
Aveo.
Hello, Bashar. My name is Christian. I am from Brazil. And my question for you is, what role does Latin America, I would say Brazil, but Latin America in general, plays and is going to play in the upcoming events, in the upcoming disclosures and proximity of contact between humans and other beings and spirituality in general? So what role are you, what's the importance of this piece of the planet for this disclosure? Thank you.
A lot of it has to do with the indigenous tribes in South America that have had contact with extraterrestrials for thousands of years, and the ability of the information that they already know to come to the surface. So a lot of research needs to be done, a lot of discovery needs to be done, and a lot of listening needs to be done to the stories that a lot of indigenous tribes in South America have to tell about their encounters with extraterrestrials and other dimensional beings, to add their stories to the mix of information and knowledge that humanity needs to access so it can increase its awareness of the existence of extraterrestrials that's been going on your planet for a long, long time.
All right. Hey, Bashar.
Good day, good day.
I was curious, are there sentient cats?
All cats are sentient.
Oh, I meant like more like a higher level like we are, or self-awareness, I guess you might say it that way.
They have self-awareness. They just don't need to be anything other than cats with their self-awareness. Animals, in a sense, if you want to look at it this way, are specialists. They use all of their awareness and all of their sentiency and all of their intelligence to be exactly what they are. Humans and some other animals can exhibit some of this, are generalists. And that's why you think the way you do. And that's why you need to be the way you are. Cats don't need to be anything other than cats. Humans need to be many different things. That's what being a human is.
Interesting. And the dolphins that have the ability to travel back and forth between parallel universes, are they from our world? Did they evolve in our world or somewhere else and then come
Well,
here?
nothing actually came from Earth. Everything, in a sense, came from elsewhere, either through literal, deliberate implantation or through the device you call panspermia. Do you understand that term?
Yes.
So
Like
everything on
and
Earth came from somewhere else originally. Now, it developed on Earth over time through the evolutionary process. But originally, the DNA that you find exists in all life on your planet came from other places in space.
Got it. Okay. Um, On your world, do you have like an area that's jungle?
We do have lush forests, and there are certain areas that are more what you would refer to as jungle-like, yes,
Okay.
mostly
Are
around
there
the equator.
around the equator? Okay. Is it otherwise a mostly arid world?
Ours, no, it is very temperate,
Oh.
very lush, very green, lots of forests, lots of plants, lots of trees. We don't have seasons like you do. It is
Mm,
mostly within a range of about 5 degrees difference throughout the entire year because our axis is not tilted like yours is, not to the same
interesting.
degree.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have flying creatures that have
Yes,
a kind of lo long nose and they kind of they're very friendly and
yes.
almost like mammalian? Okay. I'm just curious. And it feels like little like when they touch you, it feels like little kisses, like wet kisses.
Well, yes, that's one way I suppose you could describe it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Are you with your world, are you planning to like how we had intervention in our world and we're a hybrid species? Are you planning to create hybrid species from the animals that live on your world?
No, there is no need to. We are already a hybridized society.
Hmm. Interesting. And so for you, time doesn't like you're actually saying that your society from our Earth timeline doesn't exist yet. Is that right?
In the way that you would understand that, that is to some degree correct. Although, again, remember, we're in a completely parallel reality from you. So we do
Mm,
coexist at the same time on a higher level. But from your timeline, we would seem to be thousands of years in your future.
that's interesting. What's the farthest from like our very local timeline? What species is the farthest in the future that you've met?
There are species we have interacted with that are millions of years ahead of you.
Whoa, that's cool. What about the farthest in the past from this very local timeline?
We do not really interact with many species who are too far in what you would consider to be the past because most of them are not ready yet for that kind of contact. However, there are a few that have been a few hundred years and maybe even a couple of thousand years behind you that developed societies that were open to the idea of open contact long before yours is.
Interesting.
Now, you have
Okay.
had open contact thousands of years in the past in other civilizations, such as Atlantis and so on and so forth. So it's just that, as an example, they developed in similar ways and didn't lose the ability to have that contact and start over again, like Earth did.
That makes sense. Yeah. Did the ancient Egyptians have open contact, or by them was it no longer open contact?
Well, yes, it depends upon exactly what era in ancient Egypt you're referring to, but there was
Mm,
early on open contact because many of the beings that are referred to as gods by the ancient Egyptians were actually extraterrestrials.
that makes sense. How do you find the civilizations that you make contact with?
Energetically, vibrationally.
Mm,
We read the vibrations they give off, and if they give off a kind of vibrational invitation that they're getting ready to allow themselves to understand that they're not alone in the universe, then we can begin to explore in what ways we may be able to initiate contact subtly so that we do not disrupt their society. But we will explore it if we feel that the vibration is being given off by that civilization. Sometimes we have to back off when sometimes they may stick their, as you say, toe in the water of exploring that, but sometimes a civilization will pull back from that, and then therefore so will we.
that's really interesting. So, how many civilizations again did you personally make contact with?
I have made contact personally with 137.
Wow, that's a lot. And when are you actually like representing the whole Federation in some way, or is it just your civilization when you're making contact?
It depends upon who we are making contact with. Mostly it is simply representative of our civilization, but there are times when it is important for us to act in a sort of diplomatic or ambassadorial way for the entire interstellar alliance, depending upon the culture that we are contacting.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Bashar. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. Aveo. Good day.
Bye.
Good day, Bashar. Thank you. My name is Zach. I was wondering if I'm a part of the hybrid program. And if I am, I was wondering how could I become more aware of my end of the bargain and what my life path is supposed to entail. And thank you.
You are learning your life lessons that your soul put on your path. All you have to do is continue to follow the formula as precisely as possible. You will have more understanding about your role in the hybridization program after open contact when you are able to interact with the hybrid extraterrestrials that have been living and working among your society for quite some time. So just give it a couple of more years, and in the meantime, really act on your passion, really follow the formula as precisely as possible, and you will be better prepared in a couple of years to be able to interact with the extraterrestrial hybrids that have been living and working among your society once they are openly introduced to you. And it is then and only then that it will be really appropriate for you to know exactly what else you can do to fulfill the role that your soul has chosen to participate in the evolution of humanity in this day and age.
Hi.
And to you, good day.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
Thank you. So my first question is, I have done a lot of healing work, therapy, spiritual practices, self-reflection, but deep anger still resurfaces from time to time. So
then you don't
why is it
necessarily believe that you are unaffected by what other people do.
Say that one more time.
You have not developed an understanding or a belief that you are unaffected by what other people choose to do. You still believe that they can affect you without your permission.
Okay.
And that's what makes you angry. You are, in a sense, angry at yourself for not choosing to align with what you prefer, despite what other people may choose in your reality. Remember, this is why we say, if you understand how things work, then it doesn't really matter what happens around you. It only matters what you do with what happens that makes the difference in your experience of your reality. So if you find yourself getting angry because of things going on around you, then you are giving your power over to them to say that what they're doing more accurately determines what you get to experience than you do. You need to reverse that and understand that you cannot be affected by anyone else. You can only match a vibration being offered to you that pulls you out of the state you prefer to be in, but you're pulling yourself out of that state with the belief that you have to match that other vibration just because you experience it or observe it in your reality. Just because you can observe something doesn't mean that you share the same reality. It's like looking through a glass window. You can see what other people may be choosing that you don't prefer, but they can't reach you because they cannot penetrate the glass. If you feel yourself being affected by them, then you have decided to step onto their side of the glass.
Gotcha.
Stay on your side, and you will understand that they can't reach you, and the only way you would experience the things that are representative of what they're doing is for you to agree to match and mirror the vibration that they're giving off that you don't prefer. So why would you choose to do that, is the question. What are you getting out of doing that, is the question. Because remember, you don't do anything that you don't believe serves you. So somehow you must still be holding on to a belief that choosing to mirror a vibration you don't prefer somehow is teaching you a lesson that you need. What is that lesson?
How do I effectively transmute it instead of just managing it, or
you're not paying attention,
managing my triggers?
You're not paying attention to what we're telling you. Listen more closely. It's not about managing it. The idea is that you're choosing to do it because you think it serves you somehow and benefits you somehow to go into that state. So you need to answer the question, how am I getting a benefit by going into the negative state?
Okay.
And the way perhaps to figure that out is by asking this question. If I didn't go into the negative state, if I stayed in the positive state that I prefer to stay in, what am I afraid might happen in my life? Can you answer that question? If you remained positive because that's what you prefer, what are you afraid might happen? Are you afraid that you would no longer be relatable? Are you afraid you would lose your friends because you're now too different and don't react like a typical human being? Are you afraid you would leave them behind because you have risen above the need to choose those negative vibrations? Are you afraid that would mean you would wind up being alone? What are you afraid of by remaining positive? That question needs to be answered by you. And once it is answered, you will understand why you might choose to go into the negative vibration to make yourself seem like a part of humanity instead of really actually being a living example of what humanity can become by being your true self, your soul self, and letting them see in you what they could also choose for themselves as well. So if you can answer these questions for yourself, you will understand that it makes no sense for you to continue to choose something you don't prefer, and it doesn't serve anyone to do so.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
are you
Sure.
willing to be of service to others by being your best self, your true self, and choosing only those things which allow you to act as a living example to others of what they could also choose, instead of simply going into anger, which only reinforces the negative choices that they're making? So why would you do that to them? Why would you reinforce the negative choices they're already making by mirroring that vibration instead of something more positive that gives them the option to choose something different?
A good question.
Thank you.
So,
I often
thank you.
ask good questions. The only thing is you have to find a good answer for all those questions when you ask them of
Absolutely.
yourself. So
Absolutely.
spend some time asking those questions of yourself, and you will find that the answer will come, and you will find the relief that you're looking for.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Can I ask another question?
That was a question, so you just did. Are you wanting to
Yeah.
ask yet another one?
Yes, sir.
All right. You don't have
All
to
right.
ask if you can ask, otherwise you've already asked.
True. So when you can see how artificial and conditioned and performative like society is, how do you avoid becoming detached or exhausted by it while still trying to live fully and joyfully?
Again, watch your definitions. The only time you become overwhelmed or exhausted is a first clue that you are not doing things in the way that works for you, that you're making choices that don't work for you. Otherwise, if you are making the choices that are actually aligned with your true vibration, you never become overwhelmed. You never become exhausted.
It's like I can see that we're in a matrix and I can see the programming.
But it's
and
your matrix.
True,
It's
I
your
create
simulation. All it is a matter of making choices that you prefer as opposed to making choices that you don't. And if you make choices that you don't prefer, like we already just told you, figure out what benefit you think you're getting out of making choices you don't prefer by asking the question, if I stopped making choices I don't prefer and started making choices I do prefer, what am I afraid might happen? If you are honest in your self-examination by asking that question, you'll figure it out, and you will let go of the reason that you have created to make choices you don't prefer, because you will see that it no longer makes sense to do so when you realize why you've been making those choices, by understanding what it is you were afraid would happen if you stopped making those negative choices. So it's just a matter of going through that process and answering that question. What am I afraid will happen if I choose something I prefer instead of something that I don't? When you are honest with your answer, everything will fall away and you will awaken and be enlightened to why you've been doing what you've been doing and how you can then realize that it makes no sense to continue to do so. It's all about the why. Why are you choosing to do what you're choosing to do? So you have to figure that out. Ask that question. Investigate it.
Yeah.
Take the time to do so. What am I afraid will happen if I start choosing things that I prefer instead of choosing things I don't? And understand that you're choosing them. These things just don't happen to you. They happen through your choices. You cannot experience anything if you don't choose to.
Yeah. I just feel like some days I'm living in a video game.
Do you understand what you're doing right now? You are constantly reinforcing the need to choose things you don't prefer by constantly defining it in a way that makes it seem as if you are powerless to make a choice. I feel like I'm in a video game. Where does the feeling come from? The feeling comes from something you already believe to be true, because feelings don't happen in a vacuum. You have to believe something to be true about yourself first before you can have any feeling about anything at all. So if you have a feeling that you're in a video game and you have no choice and it's just running on its own, ask yourself why you're holding on to a belief that allows you to have that feeling. Because the belief generates the feeling. Trace the feeling back to what you would have to believe is true about yourself and your life to make it seem as if you don't have any control over that feeling. You're generating it by holding on to a belief that generates that feeling. No feeling comes from anything that is not a belief you don't think is true.
That's deep. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Aveo. All right, I'll say we will begin. Good day. This transmission is called The Window, the Door, and the Gate. And we will explain this a little bit more clearly in the meditation that will go along with this transmission today, so that you may be better prepared for the 3-part transmission coming up in your year of 2023 in January, February, and March, called Becoming a Galactic Citizen, where we will take you through very specific exercises that will involve the window, the door, and the gate to open you up to greater probabilities of contact in the years to come. So, this will be more clearly explained in the meditation as a symbol, as a changing and a frequency shift of the energies required and the state of being and state of mind required to increase these probabilities of contact as you move forward in the window of open contact. The idea in general is that these 3 stages, the window, the door, and the gate, will shift your energy in very specific ways that will expand your ability, expand your awareness, expand your potential to step out of your typical reality and begin to blend and interact and interface with new levels of reality that are all around you all the time, but are mostly invisible to you now. These exercises, these permission slips we will deliver in the first 3 months of your 2023 will be designed for the specific purpose of allowing you to relax the barriers that have been created, the limitations that have been imposed upon your consciousness, that up to this point have prevented you from being able to see what is all around you all the time, to be able to expand your senses and become more sensitive to higher frequency and higher dimensional energies, so that you can begin to enter a new realm in which there are many more probabilities for interaction with different kinds of beings, not only extraterrestrial, but extra-dimensional and even spirit. To begin to dissolve those preconceived notions and preconceived barriers between what you typically refer to as physical reality and the other more refined, more rarefied realities that exist right here, right now, but which you pass through unaware. You may have given yourself the opportunity to experience little glimpses, little pieces, little moments of tapping into those higher realms, those higher dimensions. But the idea of the window, the door, and the gate as a permission slip, as a series of exercises, will refine your ability, if you are willing to align with it, to begin to perceive reality in a very different way, and to be able to perceive those that inhabit those other more rarefied levels of reality, so that you can begin to truly expand your notion of what it means to be a galactic citizen. So join us on this journey today, and we will, in the meditation, take you through an exercise to begin to prepare you for the upcoming 3-part transmission of the window, the door, and the gate. In return for the gift you are giving us of interacting with all of you this day, I ask, in what way now may we continue to be of service to you? You may begin with your dialogues and your questions if you so desire.
Hello.